like growing up in Mulking?
Where do I begin? When I first arrived, I hated it. My brother just died, my birth mother just left me, and I had to live with new parents. And I didn't understand why. It got better, of course, once I made friends, played soccer, and I was happiest when Papa was teaching me how to read.
Did this change a lot once the war was in full swing?
Yes, Mom and Papa were poor to start, but when the rationing began, it was only worse. Rudy, my mother and neighbor and best friend, and I were almost always hungry. And then my foster brother, Hans Jr., walked out on Papa. I didn't understand at first, but I realize now that it was because Papa lived through World War I and couldn't stand to see the Nazis killing and discriminating. I can't agree more with him. Just seeing the word Jude and the star drawn onto shop windows.
I'm sorry. It must have been very hard to see so much hate, especially at such a young age.
Well, don't worry about me. It could have been a lot worse. I could have been Jewish.
Did you see a change in people as the war went on?
If anything, I noticed that hard times can bring out the best in people. Not always, but it can.
How so?
Well, so many people were selfless and brave, though I suppose it was their selflessness that made them brave.
Why are selfless acts considered brave?
I don't know if I could answer that exactly, but I think many people in my life that were so kind and brave.
Who would you say was most selfless in your life?
Hands down, my mom and papa. Why? Well, it was 1942, Hitler was attempting genocide, and there was a Jewish man in our basement. I still remember the night Max walked into my life for the very first time. It was a night like any other, until a complete stranger walked through my kitchen. He said to my papa,
"Who are you? Do you still play the accordion?" Come in. Sit.
and by that, I think he
Rosa,
meant,
help me get him upstairs.
Hans, should we really be doing this?
Rosa, we knew this day would come eventually. We need to help him.
Alright.
Rosa, help me lay him down on the bed.
Alright. Liesl, little blanket.
Here, Mama.
It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay.
Papa, tell me who he is.
I owe this young man so much. His father was the one who taught me to play the accordion, and his father saved my life in the war.
What do you mean? How did he do that?
Well, one day there was a dangerous battle that we all knew was going to be extremely risky to go out into. And so his father volunteered me to stay behind that day, and when all of my friends went out to battle, each and every one of them died.
He sacrificed his life for you?
Yeah. Rosa, get him some water. It's going to be okay. That's good.
Papa, the officers, they're coming.
What do you mean?
I saw them when I was playing soccer outside. They're here to check basements.
Smart girl. Rosa! Rosa!
What is it?
The officers, they're here to check the basement.
What should we do? Should we put Max into Liesl's room?
What if they check the rooms?
Well, do you have a better idea?
They're here. Okay. You get the door. I'll tell Max to hide. We need to stall as much as we can for Max.
Sit down and read one of your books.
Max, the officers are here. They're checking the basements. Hide.
What do you want?
Good afternoon, Frau...
Uberman.
I've come to proceed in the basement check to see if your basement is fit in case of a bombing.
Would you like some tea or coffee?
Oh no, I'm fine, thanks. May I please see the basement though?
Of course. Basement's just the first door on the right, but you're sure you don't want anything to drink?
I'm sure.
Sure?
Yes.
Alright.
Alright, thank you. I'm sorry for the inconvenience.
What are we going to do if he finds him?
There's nothing we can do now. It's all up to Max.
Okay.
Alright, I'm done here. I'm sorry, but your basement is just filthy, it does not fit the requirements, and the ceiling's way too low.
Alright.
Oh, okay. Thank you for coming by.
Sorry about that, officer. But
No problem.
Yeah.
have a good day.
Clean it up
Thank you.
You too.
Mr. Vandenberg, could you tell us what it was like in the Uberman's basement?
I don't think that life was good for anyone at that time. But compared to the other Jewish people, I had it pretty good. There was always the risk of my neighbors seeing me through the basement curtains at night, but I was hidden and fed. They saved me from illness and from the concentration camps, as long as they could anyways. I'm so thankful to Rosa and Hans. They're two of the kindest and bravest people I've ever known. So many people helped me, despite themselves, and I would not be alive right now without them.
Who else pushed you through these difficult times?
My family and my best friend, Walter. White, blonde, blue-eyed Walter. But I didn't see that. When I looked at him, I saw one hell of a fist fighter, a selfless man, and I saw a friend. When I picture him now, I see one of the bravest men on earth. On the night of the broken glass, Walter came to my home and told me I had to leave. But I said no. I said I wouldn't leave my mother, but I wanted to. I wanted to run and hide like a coward. Run and not look back.
Max, it's okay.
Liesel, I could never repay everyone for what they've done for me.
Well, I always told you that I never did anything. It was all Mom and Papa.
You did plenty.
All I did was not talk and...
And look how far that's gotten you. You kept me company and you kept me from insanity. I can never thank you and your mama and papa enough.
Mr. Vandenberg, please, share with us why you feel so strongly towards what Miss Memminger has done.
The Ubermans were extremely kind to me. The risk involved in hiding me was immensely dangerous. However, they did so anyways. For that, I will always be extremely grateful towards Hans and Rosa for keeping me nourished and hidden in the security of their home. They demonstrated immense acts of bravery on my account. Then there was Liesel, who kept me alive mentally. She also risked so much for me, including bringing new books every day just so she could read to me. The danger that consisted of doing so was extremely high. Liesel was the only friend I had, and was truly a light during this dark period of my life. Although it seems I never would be able to escape such a bad time in my life if it weren't for my mother and childhood friend Walter. The both of them were extremely loyal and made immense selfless sacrifices to make my life better. I'll never forget the night that had changed my life forever. The Germans had made their way to my village and were capturing Jews. My family and I waited anxiously.
Get away from the window.
But Mom, they've just taken our neighbors.
Yeah, I know. But you have to be quiet, okay? Otherwise they're gonna hear you too.
Okay.
This is what it has come to.
What are you talking about?
The world, Mom. The entire world. It's gone mad. Look at what we've come to. Look at what we've resorted to.
I know, but that's life. Or it's our lives anyways. You have a chance of leaving and starting over, okay? So don't lose hope.
Yes, Mother, I know.
No, Sarah, you stay here, okay? And be quiet. Oh, thank God it's you, Walter. Get inside.
Alright, if we're gonna leave, we need to leave now.
Max, you have to...
No, I won't go. I won't leave you.
Yes, you will. Okay? This is your last chance, and I'm refusing to let you pass up this opportunity. Fine.
Max, it's one or none. We need to leave now. There's chaos out there, and chaos is what we need.
Fine.
I love you, and I know you're gonna do great things, okay?
I love you too.
Let's go, Max.
Let's go, guys. Walk faster.
Got nothing. Absolutely nothing. Makes me sick seeing these Jews out here by themselves.
I know, Papa, but look at them. I mean, you can't just leave them like this. Something for them. This is so bad.
You're right. I have some food here for them.
What?
I can give it to them.
No, Papa. You have to be careful. Papa, don't. You could get hurt.
Move! on! Fine, you're good as much as staying there. You okay? You must be freezing. You're starving. What do you think you're doing?
She's dying, can't you see that?
You filth, you swine!
She's dying. She needs food. She's freezing.
Shut up! You love her? Come on, you're coming with me, let's go.
Mr. Vandenberg, Miss Meminger, it's been incredible learning about both of your stories, especially being able to hear them firsthand. I can really understand how much you both have endured. And I see you've brought some things to show us?
Yes, that's correct.
Mr. Vandenberg, would you care to start then?
Okay, I'd love to. Well, I brought some books Lisa used to read to me.
The original ones?
Not the original copies. Unfortunately, almost everything the Memingers had was destroyed by the bombing. I just repurchased the books and I've kept them all these years. And actually read them to my own children.
Was it hard at all, given that it might have triggered unpleasant memories?
No, I wouldn't say that it was hard at all, actually. You see, this was one of the only parts of my life I was actually able to enjoy. Lisa was one of my only friends I had, and the fact that someone would spend the time and bring me books every day was remarkable. Just the thought that someone cared and loved me enough to do such a thing kept me going, which is why I thought it would be a perfect thing to bring in.
That's wonderful, Mr. Vandenberg. Thank you.
The pleasure's all mine.
Miss Meminger, would you care to continue?
Alright, well, of course, let's see. Well, this is actually a picture that I was able to salvage from a bar that my father Hans used to play at. In the picture, it's him playing the accordion. He used to play it so often, and whenever he would, it would instantly make me smile. Although, now that I think of it, my mother wasn't too fond of the idea. To this very day, it's almost as though I can still hear her saying, "Hans, turn that racket down!" It makes me laugh, but oddly enough, they were perfect for each other. They taught me so much about bravery. The risk involved in hiding Max was extreme, but my parents went through with it anyways. But both of them are still my inspiration to this very day. I only hope to be as selfless as they were. I also have this book that Max gave me. He painted over his copy of the Mein Kampf just so I could have a book to read, because he knew how much I love to read. Now, why are selfless acts considered brave? When you ask such a question, I couldn't see it at first, but my entire life growing up demonstrated the answer to that very question, whether it be my parents hiding Max despite him being a Jewish man, or Max painting over the Mein Kampf, a book that was his key to survival, just so I would have another book to read. I was so blessed to be surrounded by people who did good and expected nothing in return, despite what was at stake. That in itself is extremely brave. Nowadays, growing up, everyone appears to be very greedy, I find. We're all a bit money crazed or just plain selfish. To be that individual who does good for the world and expects nothing in return, that in itself is extremely brave. Now, when you look at the times I was growing up in, there was a lot more at stake and a lot more to fear. But knowing this, my parents still hid a Jewish man in our basement in times of genocide. And that same man painted over his copy of the Mein Kampf just so I could read. And I, Lisa Meminger, would steal books from our mayor's library just to read to Max while he was bedridden. The very answer to your question, why are selfless acts considered brave, is simple. They are brave because whether you're living in times of Hitler or the 21st century, not much has changed in terms of people's mindset. What I mean by this is, we're all very selfish and in it for ourselves. There's always a risk in being selfless, and that risk is society. Other people being able to accept and appreciate what you're doing is right and not punishing you. As a selfless person, it takes true bravery to look beyond and exceed the boundaries until you're satisfied with the world. My parents knew they would be severely punished if they were caught hiding Max. However, it was their bravery that made them realize society was wrong and Max did not deserve to die. I hope my words and my story have shed some light on the answer to your question. Thank you.
Ms. Neminger, Mr. Vinberg, I would like to thank you both for coming here and telling us about your lives.
Thank you for having us. It's been a real pleasure.